Welcome back to American Patriots Radio. This is Jason W. Hoyt. Learn more about the show at jasonwhoyt.com. It's H-O-Y-T. Actually, this afternoon I'm going to get I'm going to do the little podcast, do the little playback on the website. Each segment, I know we've crammed a lot of content here into this show, and we're going to have those all for you available on jasonwhoyt.com. Next up, I have a pretty exciting project here. As you know, as this great awakening in this country is trying to take back Washington and state capitals across the country, especially here, Tallahassee. There's some folks who said, you know what, we got to take back Hollywood. And there's a culture war going on in this country. And some of the conservatives out in Hollywood actually want to get a little bit loud. And they're going to be able to do that coming up in August. Thanks to my next two guests here, Margie Kinder and James Marshall, founders of the National Conservative Film Festival. And there's a whole slew of people here that are really, volunteering for this, and we're going to talk about how you can volunteer as well. But I want to read an excerpt from Andrew Breitbart's book, Righteous Indignation. This is right there on page 3. You can go to jasonwhoyt.com/bookstore and pick up a copy. He says, "Make no mistake, America is in a media war. It is an extension of the Cold War that never ended, that shifted to the electronic front. The war between freedom and statism ended geographically when the Berlin Wall fell. But the existential battle never ceased. When the Soviet Union disintegrated, the battle simply took a different form. Instead of missiles, the new weapon was language and education, and the international left had successfully constructed a global infrastructure to get its message out. Schools, newspapers, network news, art, music, film, television. For decades, the left understood the importance of education, art, and messaging. Oprah Winfrey gets it. David Geffen gets it. Bono gets it. Obama gets it. Even Corey Feldman gets it. But the right doesn't. For decades, the right felt that the Pentagon and the political class and simple common sense could win the day, and they were wrong. The left does not win its battle in debate. It doesn't have to. In the 21st century, media is everything. The left wins because it controls the narrative. The narrative is controlled by the media. The left is the media. Narrative is everything. That is Andrew Breitbart in his book, Righteous Indignation. He nailed it. James, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning, and thank you for having us here today.
You bet. Now, where did this idea come from, this National Conservative Film Festival? We're going to get to the dates here. Actually, let's just get it August 30th through September 2nd. And right here in Orlando, Coronado Springs, it's going to be huge. At the resort out of Disney. But James, where'd the idea come from?
The idea basically came exactly what you were talking about. Everybody wants to go and impact Washington, D.C.
Right.
And take back D.C. But
and it's
realize,
necessary.
Right, and that's necessary, but you also have to be able to impact those who are still on the couch, who are not engaged watching what D.C. is doing.
Right.
They're worried about what's on television.
And they don't even realize they're being indoctrinated by
Correct.
some sitcom, for 30 minutes on a Thursday night, and you don't know that they're actually talking about statist principles, because that's what they talk about in Hollywood.
Right, exactly. And it's very subtle, too. In fact, my wife and I are rewatching the show 24.
Yeah.
And when you go back all the way back to 2001, 2002, when it debuted, you even see their presidential candidate talking about public health care. You already see that. It's all subtle to be able to put that message into the mind of the viewers.
And he was running in California.
And he was running for the presidential primary in California at that time. So you can see how that is. And we all know that the left, specifically the communists, all are about trying to subvert things that make America America. In other words, the foundational aspects, and that includes our spirituality, and that includes the education, our families, and then, of course, our leadership and our values. So if you can subvert that, and that's usually requiring getting public education, that's done, and then also going into the churches and kind of messing them up. The families coming in there and creating a war within the family itself, again, and then dividing the people among classes and races and everything else. That's all part of the old Lenin strategy.
Yeah, that's the Frankfurt School. That's what actually Breitbart has extended chapters on that very thing you're talking about, and how they came over here and they said we need to infiltrate universities and Hollywood and all of that. And there's actually some conservatives that are in Hollywood. They do exist.
Right, but they get blacklisted.
Yeah, they're kind of quiet.
So if you go out to Hollywood and you are the most talented screenwriter,
We got our
or
camera
actor,
guys here nodding their
yes,
heads.
and,
They
they're-
know.
and you want to be able to go out there and try to at least earn a living to support your family.
Right.
Everybody wants to at least have some sort of, the ability to support their family, pay the light bill, and so forth.
Yeah.
But you go out there with the dream, and you've got this great content, but because it doesn't further their agenda, it'll never get written. So then you have a choice. Do I either feed my family, or do I hold my principles and go broke and then go do something I didn't really ever want to do? So
Right.
what they do is they compromise. More often than not, they'll compromise values and say, well, it's just this movie, or it's just this.
Yeah.
And ultimately they get sucked into it. But there are some folks out there who say, I just can't do that. And as a result, they're blacklisted.
Yep.
And then by result, then they have a choice. They can either go start their own film company,
Yeah.
which, by the way, Adam Sandler did.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, he had to go get his own, build his own company. So that way he has the
Are you telling
autonomy.
me Adam Sandler's a conservative?
He's absolutely conservative.
Wow. There you
So
go.
you never know
You
these
never know.
things.
And then he always has his buddies with him in the same movies.
Mm-hmm.
Are they conservatives? Maybe. I mean,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And again, conservative, has you can be fiscally conservative
Right.
and understand that the government is spending so much they're going to go off the train track, and we're going to be able to
Right.
we're going to lose what we have here.
Right.
But then you also realize that they may be socially more moderate, or vice versa.
And part of that is they just want to be left alone.
Right.
That's the message of liberty.
Right.
I don't want the government to tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
That even comes from social issues. And now there's a proper role of government in some of the social issues, and we'll get into that in a later broadcast. But, you nailed it. The fact that Adam Sandler started his own company. Margie, let me ask you about an organization that's kind of involved, FOA. Tell me about who FOA is and where they come from and what are they doing at the film festival.
They are actually considered the underground Hollywood,
FOA stands for
the Friends of Abe,
Abe as in
Abraham Lincoln.
wow, in
And-
Hollywood. Yeah, that's
yes.
why they FOA. It's kind of quiet. They don't want to tell everybody, but go ahead.
And then they also they have an organization that's in Los Angeles. And they have one that's in New York. I think there's a third one. I don't know where it is.
Yeah,
And
that's how quiet it is. That's awesome.
Right. And what we want to do is we want to host an event on Saturday night and have those actors and producers to come out and celebrate the fact that they are conservative and that they want to come out, and they're not worried about what the left's going to do to them.
Right. Well, tell me about Beverly Zaslow, because is she part of FOA, or she's also on the board with us planning this, but she's been involved in
She's the producer of Politichicks. She is a producer with the Runaway Slave movie with C.L. Bryant.
Right.
And then she is also the movie producer on the second Atlas Shrugged movie.
Excellent. So Atlas Shrugged is coming out soon. We're trying to talk to them and see if,
We're hoping to preview that
Yeah.
at the Conservative Film Festival.
So get information about the Conservative Film Festival by going to facebook.com, National Conservative Film Fest. Facebook.com, National Conservative Film Fest. We'll be launching the website probably another couple weeks. We've got a lot of work to do on that. We have, 6 or 7 different film categories.
Actually, we have 9.
9. My goodness, it's growing. Now, we've rented over 110,000 square feet at Coronado Springs out at Walt Disney World.
There's actually 367,000 square feet.
Oh, my goodness. Well, wow. Okay, so we need to get that website launched. Facebook.com/National Conservative Film Fest, just to get the updates. We're also on Twitter. Conservative FF is the Twitter handle. We
And
have
the hashtag is #NCFF.
NCFF. We got a lot of work to do. At that film fest, we'll be screening movies. We're going to have speakers. We'll have a big exhibit hall. We're going to have breakout training sessions. Steve Bannon, writer-director of The Undefeated, about Sarah Palin. He'll be doing his filmmakers boot camp, but not just industry folks. We're going to have some conservative activist training at the National Conservative Film Fest as well. Thank you, guys. We're going to have an ongoing conversation about this, and thank you so much for sponsoring this half hour National Conservative Film Fest. This is Jason W. Hoyt at American Patriots Radio, closing out after this.